Cleveland Clinic have performed the nation's first uterus transplant.
And it will give a young woman a chance at pregnancy. Fox 8's Melissa Reed sat down with one of the surgeons before this historic procedure. Melissa.
This is absolutely incredible, Tracy. The Cleveland Clinic began screening for candidates for the uterine transplant late last year. And until then, they really had to just watch and wait. They needed the perfect candidate to match up with the perfect donor. Well, they found them. And after a revolutionary surgery, a woman who lacks a womb now has a chance to carry her own baby. It's a new frontier in reversing infertility. A team of Cleveland Clinic transplant surgeons and gynecological surgeons performed the nation's first uterus transplant during a 9-hour surgery at the clinic Wednesday.
Just like any solid organ transplant, like kidney transplant, we would take from an organ donor and then prepare that uterus to replace inside the recipient, which is our patient who has either a non-functioning or an absent uterus.
Dr. Rebecca Flicht, an OBGYN and expert in reproductive endocrinology, is a member of the surgical team and sat down with Fox 8 before the surgery.
To be able to give a woman that opportunity is really exciting. At the same time, it's research and we have to go very, very carefully.
Dr. Flicht says the hospital has been planning this surgery for years, only announcing last fall that it would attempt 10 transplants on women in a clinical trial.
These are women who either were born without a uterus or who have an absent or non-functioning uterus as the result of a gynecologic procedure. Those women we screen to make sure that they're in good medical health, that they have a good ovarian reserve.
The 26-year-old patient, who is not being identified publicly, had to undergo IVF and bank her embryos while she waited to be selected for surgery. The transplanted uterus came from a deceased organ donor.
We want to make sure that there's 1 year for that uterus to fully mature without any significant rejection. Before then, we would transfer the embryo into that uterus that's been prepared for pregnancy. That would give that woman really her only chance to carry her own biological child.
Dr. Flicht says this will only be temporary. Once the woman has given birth, the uterus will be removed.
And I think there's potential for this to be a huge game changer. That said, it's very, very new. We don't know, and that's the purpose of a research trial. We don't know whether this is going to be a viable or successful option.
Now, other countries have tried womb transplants, and Sweden actually reported the first successful birth in 2014. In fact, they've had a total of 5 healthy babies so far. Bill and Tracy.
It truly is remarkable.